Well, thank you again, Mr. Chairman. And when we're talking about electric vehicles, I certainly feel like we're in the Michigan wheelhouse. So, and I appreciate so much Governor Whitmer being with us this morning, as well as Governor Hogan. Let me just add to the discussion on this. I couldn't agree more that we have to look at our financing around transportation, given where we are going. And I would also say this, that our companies are investing tens of billions of dollars on the future right now. They cannot get there without a partnership with us. China has invested $100 billion to get ahead of us, to not only own the technology. I mean, part of this, to build these new vehicles, to plant the plants that have to be opened, we are going to need a number of battery cell plants to be able to deal with the new technology and the parts that are needed. This is very exciting because we have all kinds of new clean energy jobs in manufacturing to give us the supply chain to be able to do it. But China is already doing it. They're already out there trying to own all of this, as well as the charging infrastructure, as well as all of it. So we really are in a race, a competitive race, that we can win. Right now, the majority of the expertise and technology is in America, but it won't be unless we are partnering with them to get there. And so I would just say we not only, charging stations critical, we've got to deal with range anxiety, we've got to deal with how folks feel they can drive across the country on in these wonderful new vehicles, not only small vehicles, but your F-150 truck is going to be all electric, Mr. Chairman, coming next year with Ford. So we have, as well as all kinds of others. I could do ads for all kinds of vehicles. But the other thing I would say, until we get to the price point for consumers as well, the consumer tax credit that we have had in place that is now running out needs to be continued for a piece of time until we get the volume up. It's like any other kind of technology. Till there's enough purchasing power, you don't see the price go down. So electric vehicles, the cost points, and having the supply chain to be able to do this. So I just have one question as we conclude. I appreciate very much all of our witnesses, but I want to ask Ms. Sheehan, from your vantage point as president of the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials, if Congress were able to meet the entirety of the investment backlog, you've indicated there's the investment backlog is $836 billion for highways and bridges and $122 billion for transit. If somehow we could reach all of that or reduce it substantially, what would that mean to economic growth as we come out of the economic crisis and the pandemic?
Well, thank you, Senator. First and foremost, it would create immediate economic stimulus across the country. Jobs in transportation are good paying jobs, and given the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, investing in infrastructure will truly help us build back better. Further to that, we as state DOTs are in the business of asset management. We want to make the most financially sound investments in our infrastructure, reducing the life cycle cost of operating that infrastructure. And so if we could address the backlog and move forward in a way that we can maintain the existing system in a good state of repair, that will save taxpayers money into the future. When we allow things to fall apart, it can cost 4 times to 10 times as much to build the infrastructure back and have it in a good state of repair. And so as the owners of this infrastructure trying to manage it as effectively as possible, we really want to address that backlog and then move forward in a new day with a much more efficient way to maintain our systems. But more than that, I talked about the high number of fatalities on our systems. These investments would save lives. We'd be making long-term safety improvements, would be improving quality of life for communities, building sidewalks and bicycle and pedestrian facilities that are fantastic ways to stimulate economic activity in downtown areas. And we'd be addressing different aspects of quality of life, improving access and opportunity for every American.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say that one of the reasons I'm so pleased to be on this committee is that I think this committee has the opportunity to fundamentally change the future for our country and for our citizens, and this is a huge part of it. So thank you.